Hello, everybody. We are live in the flesh at the Heart studio with our faithful companion, Joan Jett, and our associate producer, Levi. And, we wanted to show up like we really are live. I'm so excited. And I wanted to let you know. So yesterday was our 2-year wedding anniversary.
Yes.
Yay! And tomorrow,
Full of joy.
Yes. Tomorrow is the 24th anniversary of 9/11, and we'll talk about that in a minute. We wanted to honor, all of those who lost their lives, commemorate all of that stuff. We were going to talk about gut health.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't. I'm so mad right now, and I hope you guys don't get mad that we're going to get real here.
Right.
We're going to get real because
we have to.
There have been some things this week, some very, very hateful, hurtful things. And we want to welcome you to comment because we are live right now. How do you show these? You said that we could show them. We are live, and we see Tamara.
Congratulations.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Love you, Tamara. We're so glad you're here. Oh my goodness.
Bye.
We want to welcome people to comment on today's incident with Charlie Kirk and also Irina.
The girl on the bus, poor young
from
girl
Ukraine,
on the bus. It's just crazy.
23 years old. And we're just in shock. I'm trying to process this.
People, there is an assault on life.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you can say about it. A gun, a knife does not have a conscience. Okay? Mm-hmm. A car, a bus, a train. Are we going to start banning trains and buses? We can't do this, people. We have to start training our young and training our people to love and
Yes.
to value life.
Yes, I want to make this clear that we don't want to fester the anger. We don't want to make it worse. We want, for us humans, for us Americans, stand up in love, okay? And we take a stand, just like this song that we wrote, and we're not, trying to plug our song, but it's called Shine, and it happened right after that school shooting. And that's another thing, Levi, that the school shooting that we just heard about in Colorado.
What is going on today? It's just unreal.
Right. And we have an amazing guest today. His name is Phillip Woolfolk, and we're so excited to introduce you to him. And we don't want to take away from that, but we wanted to show up live because we truly want to process this and spread let's try to come up with some healthy action.
So now when we wrote that song Shine, there was a deliberate attack on prayer. Okay, so because people say, oh, we need to pray about that situation, not worry about the guns or whatever, but pray. And the thing about it is that our mindset in that song Shine was that picture this, you're in a mall. Okay, you're in a mall and a shooter comes up in the mall and there's 50 people all around the shooter. Those 50 people need to go and tackle that shooter and get him down and stop it before it keeps going.
Yeah, and we have that line when there's 50 running to the fire.
Right.
All right. Oh my gosh. If we all just stood up together, unified.
Stand up, unified
instead
together.
Instead of being divisive, right? I mean, this isn't about whether you're one belief or the other. This is about humanity. This is about love.
Right.
And
and we're gonna talk a little bit about Charlie Kirk because this is just a horrible assassination that happened today. Wars start on assassinations. And it's just horrible. And we don't want a war to start. This is a war on life. And we need to address the war on life. And I'd love to pray for Charlie Kirk's family now who were there to witness this.
We stand in unity with the families. Yes.
God bless them. And it's
I just can't even imagine. I can't fathom.
No matter what side you are on. Now think about this. There's at least 100 million people in this country on either side, polarized on either side. We can't let one person, destroy unity in America. It's just, that's not common sense. If Charlie Kirk was anything, he was total common sense. Okay. That's what he was trying to do. He wanted a country. And if people couldn't stand up to that, that's on them. But, we need a new definition for what a martyr is, people. Because if a martyr is someone who stands up for their beliefs, but if they have to be snuffed out for speech, that's not right. That's totally
so
not right.
Rockstar Diaries is here. It's called Healing Out Loud, because we truly feel that if we all heal out loud and as a community, that it helps, right? And we're all about bringing music and, yes, comedy, right? We wanted to start strong with this, so we hope that you enjoy this guest. I mean, he's an amazing guy, and we hope you enjoy the little bits that we have, and keep commenting, because we are watching everything, and we love it that you guys are showing live. Oh my God. I am just in awe right now with how many people are live here with us today and commenting. And yes, Tamara, stand for love, LOVE. We need to bring hearts in sync around the world, okay? Not hearts divided, hearts in sync.
Yes.
All right, let's go. Today's guest is amazing. He's an amazing human being. And let me ask you a question. Do you want to be unstoppable in your business and in life? You don't want to miss a minute of this episode. I tell you what, right?
That's right. Well, we're going to talk with Phillip Woolfolk. He has been impacting lives for decades through personal, professional, community, and academic platforms. His talks and wisdom focus on resiliency, knowledge, strategy, and mindfulness to help elevate you to the next level of your life.
He truly believes that alignment, I love that word, alignment, in all aspects of your life will lead to growth and better outcomes. He's an effective visionary who educates and enlightens audiences everywhere to reach optimal levels of success. And he empowers you
to align personal and business goals with a positive mindset.
Yes. And we are going to welcome him with a rockstar welcome.
Yes.
Hello.
Welcome, Phillip.
We're so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me. Great to be with you guys.
Great to be with you. Hey, I wanted to dive right in because I have started reading your book, Triumph in the Trenches. And there was a line that said, it's not you, it's the system. And so I was just hoping that you could just jump right in and start talking about your book and maybe why you wrote it.
Oh, sure. Well, there are two books here that I agreed to participate in a trilogy for Triumph in the Trenches.
Yes.
So in book one, there were 22 anthologists, and we're basically sharing our lived experiences of what we've had to deal with in the workplace. And it was very enlightening because a number of us are, scattered around the country, and I think there might have been one or two. I know there was one author, I think that was from Australia. But what we discovered is that we're all dealing with the same barriers and challenges. And my contribution to the book, the title of my chapter there was Fighting Corporate Style and Applied Lessons from the Street. So I basically kind of share some of my experiences of, things I dealt with growing up, and how I was able to kind of translate some of those experiences into how should I handle myself in the corporate workplace, right? So, one of the things I shared is a story about being bullied and about being in a situation where there's this bully that everybody is afraid of, and we're standing in line at the boys' club waiting for the boys' club to open. This bully takes this guy's spot, and he sheepishly walks to the back of the line, and the bully catches me staring at him. And so I must have had the look on my face that, you wouldn't be taking my spot. That's all I know. So he walks over and attempts to hit me. Before I knew it, I had punched him in the nose, right?
Oh.
And in that split second, I'm thinking, oh boy, it's on now. We're going to be rolling around on the sidewalk. It's going to take a couple of adults from inside the boys club to come out and break us apart. But that didn't happen. Instead, what happened, I was thinking, everybody's afraid of this guy, but I've never seen him fight. So I don't even know if he can fight. So anyway, he puts his hand up to his nose. He looks at his hand and he says, "You made my nose bleed," right? And then he walked away. So I told the guy in the back of the line he could have his line back and his spot back in line. But I relate that story to an experience I had in my banking career, right? Mm-hmm. So I had been with this bank for a number of years, and there was a new senior vice president. And I had a large office, and the office that I had there had 2 desks. And so it was known throughout the organization, you can use the spare desk when you're in that office. Phil has a spare desk. Feel free to use the spare desk. And that had been the case for years. My door was never locked. If I was in the office, you were welcome to use the spare desk. And I get a phone call from my boss. My boss says, he's a senior vice president, right? I said, yeah. I said, well, he's a senior vice president. You're a senior vice president. And both the chief operations officer and the CEO have used the spare desk of my office. Nobody has been disrespectful. Everybody has played nice in the sandbox. For some reason, this guy wants the whole office. So he said, well, you got to handle that, Phil. I said, well, I've already handled it. The spare desk is in the mailroom. So that was my way of taking my street experience and kind of transitioning it into the workplace without punching someone's lights out.
Bullies come in all shapes and sizes. We wrote a song that talks about bullies in the playground, bullies in the office, and metaphorically, the bullies when you get older, like cancer and things that bring you down. Mm-hmm. I'm not laughing about it. It's just bullies do come in all shapes and sizes. The bullies in your head.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
Storytelling, what a powerful way to, express your transition from the playground to the office, right?
Yes.
And I tell my daughters all the time, you're dealing with people who you never know what the straw to break the camel's back is going to be with people, right? You don't want to be that person who presses their button at the time where all their buttons have been pressed, and the next button is going to be a problem for somebody, right? So you gotta let things go and not decide that you're going to get even. So I stayed in the slow lane, put my cruise control on.
One of my favorite people and authors, Mel Robbins, she wrote a book called Let Them. You may have heard of it. It's amazing.
Okay.
She talks about how we can't control others' behavior in so many different ways. We can't always control what happens on the outside, but we can control how we respond.
Oh, absolutely.
Given so many amazing examples. It could be a family member. It could be, drivers on the road. But
Oh yeah. Well, I think in the final analysis, there are lots of things that happen in life that we have no control over.
Right.
But the thing that you do have control over pretty much all the time is your own attitude and
absolutely
and how you respond to whatever is happening.
Right.
Well, we're going to take a short recess break right now and be right back with Phillip Woolfolk.
My name is AJ. I would love to see you here at Armor Brewing Co. I had a wonderful time with Ginine and Tracy. It was a fantastic experience for me, and I'm hoping I can have a fantastic experience getting to meet you too.
Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest, my team and I are happy to help. We work across all price points and specialize in helping clients relocate from anywhere in the country. Give me a call, 214-708-2450.
Don't forget the Final Cut Tribute Band in concert this Saturday at Killing Fields Nightclub. Starting at 7 p.m. with special guests The Dead Kennedys and As I Lay Dying.
KDOA approved. Life is short. Don't screw it up.
When your time comes, choose Eternal Rest Funeral Homes. Our deluxe departure package includes everything you need for your final curtain call. From a custom engraved headstone to a comfortable casket that's been reviewed for a 5-star stay. At Eternal Rest, we believe everyone deserves a grand exit. That's why every casket comes equipped with a top-of-the-line sound system and a microphone so you can finally get a word in edgewise. Our advanced Wake the Dead technology ensures your last words will be heard not just by your loved ones, but by everyone in the neighborhood. And yes, our sound systems are pre-tuned to KDOA radio. We even have an electric fence buried near your tombstone. If anyone dares to pee on your grave, they will remember you for a lifetime. Eternal Rest Funeral Homes, making your eternal rest sound more lively than your life.
KDOA approved. Life is short. Don't screw it up.
Now, back to the music someone died for.
Here's an update on the weed. Look how tall it's got. My goodness. There it is. 10 feet, weed bit the dust. Broken half. There it is.
You're watching the Rockstar Diaries TV show.
Welcome back to Rockstar Diaries. We are here with our friend and amazing human being, Phillip Woolfolk. And we are hoping, because you're all about being unstoppable and you mentor and you do huge speaking engagements all across the country, which just fascinates me because it's helping businesses be unstoppable. Mm-hmm. Can you give some tangible, some quick tips? Nothing's quick, but yeah, in life, but where our audience can take that with them and make immediate changes in case they're stuck.
Oh, sure. Well, one of the things I've found is that, as you're journeying through life, you have, just like when you're traveling through neighborhoods, sometimes there are speed bumps, right? Yeah. And those speed bumps will slow you down unless you want to, have some major damage to your car or end up being airborne if you're going too fast, right? So these speed bumps are designed to slow you down. You can stop your car and park, and then you're not going anywhere. And so for me, it starts with a decision, regardless of what's going on in your life, that you've made a decision that nothing is going to stop you. Whatever the case may be, you're pursuing a worthy goal, and that makes you successful. So sometimes we get twisted up into thinking that success is way out there somewhere and that you're not successful until you get there, right?
Right. Yeah.
Your success starts with, this is my goal. Mm-hmm. This is what I'm pursuing. Mm-hmm. And as long as I'm pursuing that a little bit every day, then I'm successful. Once you get there, there are new goals and new opportunities, and so it's an ongoing thing. So this idea of pursuing something is part of what we do as humans to continue on. It's not like you reach that certain point and decide, okay, that's it. I can sit in front of the TV and watch TV. I can just zone out now and relax, right?
No relaxing. Yeah,
so you got to keep going. I mean, it reminds me, a couple of years ago, a friend of mine asked me when I was going to retire. So I'll let you know at 95 when I'm going to retire. But my plan is for the next 30 years to be writing, speaking, coaching, and working with folks and trying to be as impactful as I can to help other folks get to where they want to be.
I want to butt in just real quick because just this morning, so one of my mentors is Brandon Bouchard, and
Okay.
I made that well known on our show, and he does these daily fires. And this morning he was speaking about aim and resolve. So when you have a goal, you resolve in your mindset that you will, not might, you
Right.
will reach that goal, right?
Right.
And he and I gave up the corporate world a couple of years ago to do this full time
Right.
and not have a plan B. We know it is working. It will work. In the past, I tried to start a new venture, a new business. I did not have that mindset all the time.
Right.
I would always lean on my plan B. Well, if it doesn't work out this time, then I could just go here. This time around, we had absolutely no plan B. We know we have a higher power too, so we're being driven by the Lord, but
absolutely
no plan B. Hello, Lioness. I believe there comes a moment in a woman's life when the noise fades and the question gets louder. Is this all there is? You've climbed the ladders. I've climbed the ladders. We've checked all the boxes. We've been everything to everyone. But now you're staring into the mirror, wondering where you went. Your dreams on hold, your fire dimmed, your soul whispering, there's so much more. I know this all too well. In 2010, I was serving everyone but myself, bleeding internally, running on fumes, smiling on the outside, drowning on the inside, until my body literally slammed the brakes. I collapsed walking up a flight of stairs and I flatlined. Then I was held, arms around me, a peace so unshakable, it erased every earthly burden. I heard the whisper, "You're not done yet, your best is yet to come." And when I came back, everything was different. Once you've been wrapped in that kind of love, joy, and peace, you can never go back to living small. My intention, Lioness, is to guide you back to the best version of yourself through storytelling, soul work, and hands-on actionable steps. I want to reach the ones who feel invisible, stuck or numb or burnt out. I was there. I want my story to be a spark, proof that even in the darkest places we can rise. We can reclaim our joy and self and come fully alive again. This is your call to rise, Lioness. Welcome to the Badass Lioness tribe, a fierce soul-fueled sisterhood where burnout becomes boldness, wounds become wisdom, and your voice becomes the weapon of impact that you were born to carry. Here, we don't settle. I went from being a wallflower to speaking and singing on stages around the world, being an international best-selling author, and being a host on a national TV show. Here, we reclaim our power through storytelling, confidence, purpose, and presence. From vocal coaching to stage performance, from healing trauma to goal mastery, from surviving to leading. Myself and a badass power-packed cast of women, including radio celebrities and international best-selling publishing companies and authors with decades of knowledge and experience, help you to rewrite your second act on your terms. Nope, this isn't just a course, it's a revolution. It's hands-on, like I said, from the experts. If something deep down inside just whispered, yes, I want more, then Lioness, it's time to rise. I'd love to gift you something powerful to begin your journey, the free Lioness Rescue and Resource Guide. This guide was born out of my own story, someone who seemed to have it all on the outside, but was quietly fading on the inside. I had to reclaim the pieces of myself that had been buried, and eventually I had to roar louder than any doubts and step back into the spotlight of my own life. Now it's your turn, Lioness. Scan the QR code or visit www.badasslioness.com. BADDASS Lioness.com to claim your free guide. You'll also be welcomed into a brand new, growing Lioness community, an empowering circle of like-minded women who are rising together. Don't let another day slip by. It's time to reclaim your greatness and step boldly into the life you were born to live.
Cedar Ridge Acres soap. Why? 'Cause you smell good.
I love your story, how you managed to really go to the top of the banking industry.
Yes.
And yet you found ways to help people in economic stress and things like that.
Yes.
What you were doing. So I love that, how
Yes.
you could have stayed there. You could have
Right.
stayed there, and but you ventured out into doing what you're doing now. And how does that evolution, mesh with what you're doing to help people now?
Well, I tell you, I had an experience back in, I guess it was 1986. The first bank I worked for was acquired by a larger bank in 1986. I started there in 1979. And I had become one of the top 3 salespeople in that branch network, and shared the top 3 spot with 2 other individuals. So every month it was one of the 3 of us was number 1, number 2, and number 3. So we were the top wage earners as it relates to commission. So this bank comes in and decides they're going to get rid of commissions, right? So they take us to this corporate dining room, and everybody's kind of going around the room, talking about how great the acquisition is, more products and services and more value for the customers and all that. And so, kind of circles around to me, and I just had one question. Those of us that are, making good money from on the commission side, now that you're getting rid of the commission, are you going to raise our base pay to compensate for that loss? Right? So you could hear a pin drop. That's what was on everybody's mind. I'm not sure. Maybe it was the fine china and the gold rim plates that had everybody bamboozled. But you give me my own money, I'll buy my own dinner and lunch. Mm-hmm. So the guy said he didn't know, right? And when you grow up the way I grew up, you get a good sense of people and what they say and whether or not they're body language is congruent with what's coming out of their mouth and all that. So I immediately calculated that this guy is lying. He just doesn't want to say it in front of all these folks, right? So I decided then, okay, I'm not staying because I'm not taking a pay cut. I don't care what the what all the niceties and all of this is going to be. So ultimately, I resigned and went to work for another bank and made up the difference in base pay and whole 9 yards. But what that did for me is it made me decide that I was not going to be in a situation again where someone was going to be controlling my destiny as it related to pay. So I had already started in the real estate business as a real estate investor. I owned a few properties by then. So I continued along that path. At the same time, I decided that I needed a resignation letter handy. So I spent most of my banking career with an unsigned resignation letter in my briefcase. And there were times along the journey that I would call somebody up, and I had a situation where one of the supervisors I thought was quite disrespectful, didn't like the way he was talking to me, didn't like his tone, and he left my office. I think before he left my office, he said, "You think about this and let me know what you want to do." Right? So he left, and I thought about it, and then I called his office to find out where he was headed from there. And I called that office and said, Jerry is headed over to your office. What's your fax number? I took out my unsigned resignation letter, signed it, dated it, and faxed it over to him. And so that kind of attitude for me has kept me grounded in the fact that New Jersey is an at-will state. What that means is that they don't need a reason to get rid of you, right? It's just, it could happen at any time. So my attitude was, you can get rid of me at any time. I could also get rid of you at any time. Right? So my resignation letter is in my briefcase. It's just a signature and a date away from me being out of here. So that translated for me into knowing that I needed to build a revenue stream outside of the job, because at some point, if that happened, I needed to be in a position to take care of myself, and later on to be able to take care of my family when that happened in the future. And as it happened, I was vice president and fair lending manager, responsible for fair lending compliance for a 7-state market area for the bank that I worked for at the time. And I happened to be at a fair lending conference right across the highway from the Pentagon on September 11th, 2001. And in that environment, I decided, this corporate crime and all of this, financially is okay. And, stock options and bonuses are great. But I really want to spend more time at home with my wife and my 2 daughters. And so what I ultimately did, it took me about a year to transition out of that position, and I left. And so at about 43 years old, I was, kind of in a semi-retired state. I spent 5 years golfing, camping, traveling, and hanging out with my daughters and my wife. So I think that idea of having that unsigned resignation letter in my briefcase, it kept me honest with myself. And so it kept me doing the things that I needed to do in order to position myself for this someday that might be coming because they decided, or it might be coming because I decided. Turns out after September 11th, it was a decision that I made. But you're right. These are, people get those kinds of positions. They don't typically leave. My boss thought I was a little crazy, but ultimately I remember having a conversation before I left. I remember him saying, that his life could have been a lot different if he had more of what I had, because I think he had aspirations that went unfulfilled, that he never pursued.
Yes.
Wow, powerful.
You mentioned 2001, and for those of us who were alive at that time, you know exactly where you were when that happened.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you automatically, something inside you makes you realize what's really important in life right now.
Right.
And to hold on to that and make sure you're you're going for what, you know, the right things. Because
Right.
those little moments in time, they do shift and change you. Do you know of any other moments in time that you were, you know, that I know you every once in a while you're going to have to shift in the corporate world, but anything else that stood out that you?
Well, I can tell you, you know, prior to that, years prior to that, my mom and dad separated when I was about 12 years old. And so we were on welfare for a time. And I recall coming home from school one day and my mother saying that the caseworker wanted to see me. So we scheduled the time. I go to the welfare office and I'm just looking around and observing, and I'm thinking this place is like a zoo. It's people are yelling and screaming. There are a couple of police officers there to kind of keep the peace, and I'm like, this is right. This is like nonsense. So I get into the lady's office, and you know, when people care about you and your situation, and they want to sort of mentor and guide you into a better place, there's a different disposition, in my view, that person takes. The position that I felt I was being interrogated. It wasn't like I want to help you better yourself, and I want to provide, you know, resources if you can help me understand what your interests are. It wasn't that kind of a conversation. So I decided, I waited, I listened, and I let her, you know, finish herself. And I said to her at the end of her comments, I said, I don't know what it is I want to do with my life. I have no idea what my true career aspirations are. I don't even know at this stage at 12 years old whether I want to go to college or not. You know, whether I want to do something in the trade world. I said, but this is one thing I can tell you right now for sure. You can remove my name from your list because I am never coming back here. And she did that and reduced the amount of my mother's check. And from that point forward, I shined shoes, I delivered newspapers, I ran errands, I cleaned and raked yards, I shoveled snow. I did whatever I needed to do to make my own money. And so that was, for me, you know, one of my talks, I talk about the journey to empowerment, right? So that for me was an early stage part of my journey to empowering myself to not be let down, put down, or ridiculed or treated in any kind of way that put me in a position where I was going to go along with you just because you had the upper hand. No, I'm not doing that. And so, you know, when you talk about those transformational moments in your life, that was one of them for me.
That's excellent. We call them origin stories as well, that trajectory change. We're going to take another quick break. Right back with Mr. Phillip.
Sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new
Hello? KDOA. Killed Dead on Arrival. We only play dead musicians' music. I guess you are all wondering why K-Love isn't on the dial. Well, we switched formats to KDOA. A word from our manager, Mortimer Graves. Yes, to our listeners, we've received a complaint. Our lawyers are belly up on their grenade to avoid litigation and prevent our lights from going as dead as our ratings. We've hired the plaintiff. She's now our weather and traffic girl. Now, if you excuse me, I have to go find a new intern. Our last one quit to become a roadkill chef. because the work is less demanding. Thanks for your attention to this matter. Dead on arrival, we're not dead, but your career is. You got the ghoul. The ghoul is cool. Welcome back to Dead on Arrival Radio, KDOA. It's 5 a.m. on the dot, and you know what that means. Time for the most inaccurate, yet somehow legally binding weather and traffic report with the one and only former frustrated caller, Karen. Brought to you by the law offices of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. We'll get you a settlement, even if we have to make one up. Karen, you there?
I'm here. Yes, I'm here. Just 1 second.
Sounds like our favorite former complainant turned colleague is already stuck in the morning commute. What's the holdup, Karen? The 405 looking a little backed up?
No, not the 405. It's the drive-through line. It's an absolute shambles. I just heard this guy ahead of me order a Moco Verde Grande, and in Spanish. What is that, a large green booger? Really? Even I know that. It's gonna be one of those days.
Okay, we'll try to find that on the traffic report. What's the weather like from the front seat of your Buick? I hear there's a 100% chance of passive aggression in the air.
Yes, it's quite human, Mr. Ghoul. I'm getting a little bit of condensation on the window, and I'm not sure if it's from the weather or my sheer frustration. Slow. Oh, it's my turn.
Welcome to Coffee Coma. Can I take your order?
Yes, I'd like a medium-sized coffee, please.
Medium. Okay, and for the type of coffee?
I need a triple shot, non-fat, sugar-free mocha latte with whipped cream and sprinkles, but only the little heart-shaped ones, okay? And it needs to be made by a barista named Jennifer.
She knows she's live, right?
Sir, we don't have sprinkles and Jennifer is on break.
Hey, I am a ma'am, not a sir, and if you don't have Jennifer, you need to find her now. I have a contract with this radio station that specifically says my needs, no matter how unreasonable, must be met. This is a matter of litigation.
Well, folks, it looks like Karen is predicting a major traffic jam on the I-drive-through, and the weather forecast is a mix of high pressure and legal precedent. This has been your Dead on Arrival weather and traffic report. We'll be right back after the break. Don't touch that dial, or my marriage is dead on arrival if I lose this job.
Hello, Caleb.
KDOA approved. Life is short. Don't screw it up.
Listen to a canned message from someone with...
You're watching the Rockstar Diaries TV show.
Welcome back to Rockstar Diaries TV show. We having a great time talking with Phillip Woolfolk. And
so I want to talk about
I want to know, am I pronouncing your name right?
Oh, yes, it's Woolfolk.
Woolfolk. Okay.
Yeah, Woolfolk.
All right, great.
Names are so important.
We always get that wrong.
No, we don't.
We're like that close, you know. It's funny.
All right. So I want to talk about writing. And by the way, you gave me 2 ideas for songs: Speed Bump, Speed Bump, and Unsigned Resignation Letter.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's different forms of writing. We story tell through our songs. We also are authors. You are in 3 anthologies, soon to be 4, which I'm actually a part of this book called Rebirth, Stories of Unyielding Courage. Mm-hmm. And we've been going through actual writing classes. I wouldn't call them classes, but just mentorship. Right. And they talk about the 5 senses, and the way you pull people in is you get deep down, real, authentic. You want to take them to that spot in life that you're talking about. And I don't know what your chapter is about, but I do want to speak about how you use your writing skills in really touching that one person.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, it's interesting because different organizations have different processes for kind of getting to the end result, right? Mm-hmm. So it's been interesting for me working with 2 separate, publishing entities on this journey to complete their various anthologies. The Rebirth book project has been pretty fascinating for me. It's been different, but it's been very colorful in terms of sometimes you do certain things a certain way, but you don't necessarily have a name for it.
Right.
So one of the great things about this Rebirth book project, the journey there, is that we're getting specific names for things as it relates to, you know, how you color your story, you know, how do you draw the reader in. And I thought it was fascinating. One of the sessions we had maybe week before last about the idea of camera angles.
Yes.
Right. And, you know, I never thought about camera angles while I was writing anything. Right. but it's an interesting way of having the reader be able to see your story from a certain viewpoint, from a certain angle, you know, where as the sun hit you on this side or whatever, you know, it's basically it's like a camera shot in terms of you know, how you're expressing that part of it. So I'm looking forward to I think there's going to be another maybe 2 or 3 iterations of what I've already written to go back and review and bring some of those elements into the story. I think it makes things makes it crisper, and I think it's a great way of drawing the reader really into the story. And what I've learned is that those tidbits and, you know, golden nuggets of knowledge and different things that kind of come your way, they can come in all kinds of places, right? So I spoke at a conference over the weekend. In addition to me participating as a speaker, I'm also participating as a lifelong learner, right?
Right.
So somebody's going to say something that is going to resonate with me, that is going to be, you know, something I could use at some point in the future.
Right.
It's something new I learned that I didn't know yesterday, and to me that's all a part of this lifelong journey of continuing to grow. So when you stop taking notes, you're done.
Oh my goodness, I love that.
Okay, I think right now it's time for the
hard question.
Hard question.
Well, and you're from New Jersey. You're living there right now, which is so cool because his sister, who we lost in November, lived in New Jersey, and I actually had the opportunity to walk down the boardwalk last year for the first time.
It was beautiful out there.
The Jersey Shore. Which boardwalk? What part of the Jersey Shore?
Nice. What's your hard question?
Okay, my hard question is this. Okay, you're a keynote speaker. You're going to go back to the corporate world, to the most immaculate corporate you want to go to that you're going to be speaking in. They're going to pay you a boatload of money. You're going to share the bill with a celebrity, okay, of your choice. And what is the backing track music you're walking out on stage with? And who's the celebrity?
Well, I spoke in North Carolina recently, and my song that I chose to walk out on was Mr. Magic by Grover Washington Jr., the saxophone player.
Nice.
And I did a rooftop event with a few of my fellow anthologists in Brooklyn, New York, back in, I think that was in June, and I walked out to the same song.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So for your celebrity, would you pick a musician or an actor, or what would it be?
would probably be a musician. I like the saxophone, which I just started taking saxophone lessons not too long ago. I played the flute myself and started playing flute when I was younger. And so I like Hubert Laws, who's a flute player. And I also like Kenny G. And my wife and my daughters took me to a Kenny G concert for my 64th birthday.
Nice. I love it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing that we're actually out of time. That time just flies fast.
It does fly, doesn't it?
Yes.
But we do want to hear some closing nuggets, golden nuggets, about anything that you have that will add value to our audience.
Or something coming up that you want to showcase?
Yes.
Oh, sure. Well, I think the next couple of things I have coming up are related to the books, right? We have the Rebirth book, volume 2, which actually is going to launch Ginine, in September?
October.
Is it October?
I believe it's October.
Yeah, I think you're right. Probably the first week or so of October.
And we'll be going on tour as speakers for that. So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, we should.
Yeah.
And then the next anthology for Triumph in the Trenches will be released in February of 2026.
Okay.
And my solo book will probably be released in the second quarter of 2026. So
Excellent.
folks can kind of keep up with me on my website, which is my first name, last name.com. And, they can order books on that site. They can, send information or request to me to explore me as a speaker at any of their events. And I'm also doing some coaching, and I have a 10-hour package and a 20-hour package that's kind of gets me in with folks who are looking to expand and grow their businesses, or sometimes it's people who are aspiring to be entrepreneurs who haven't quite gotten started yet.
Nice.
Well, people, you can't do wrong with Philip. He's a man of the heart of gold.
Yes.
And we are so grateful for having you on the show today. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.